shooting themselves when they're shooting at the Palestinians. They're shooting themselves when they're trying to take more territory, because in the end they're making a two-state solution totally unworkable. And one-state solution won't be Israel, because if it's a state where everybody has to live, it can't be the Jewish state, you know. So they are killing themselves. I don't think they've quite realised it yet, but a few of their slightly more cute friends are starting to realise it. The CIA put out a report that gave Israel only 20 more years, you know. And that's a friend of Israel, you know. So
20 more years for what?
To exist.
So they're predicting that
They're predicting it will fall. Yeah, because of the way it's behaving.
Can I just say one brief thing, Convoy said about the anti-Semitic or the Jewish comments? I think when a state defines itself by its religion, does everything in the name of its religion, and all it does to its nearest neighbour is export, you know, death and destruction and obscene behaviour, and calls that, you know, Semitism. You know, Semitism, the Arabs have seen like so well, but calls it whatever, the product of its Jewish religion and the highest product of its civilization. As Daniel Barenboim himself said, a great conductor in Germany, you know, the greatest product of Israel is anti-Semitism. It generates it, and it generates it throughout the Middle East by its behaviour. I don't think you can equate. It's been the oldest prop, and that great book by Norman Finkelstein, I'm sure you would have read or heard of, called The Holocaust Industry, how Zionist project, which was always a colonial project, basically has used, you know, the tremendous sympathy, quite rightly felt, for the Holocaust perpetrated against the Jews in the Second World War, you know, as being the victims of European history. He said, you know, the Palestinians are the victims of European history, and you know, it's just not at all the same to be anti-Zionist and anti-Jewish, and I think that's something that we have to be very fierce in defending, because it's still a big weapon used against our movement and against our defence of the Palestinian people and their suffering.
Interesting enough on that point, at my last union meeting I was trying to put forward a resolution about war crimes, and in it I mentioned Iraq, Afghanistan and Palestine, and a Jewish colleague made a very kind of emotive defence of why was Palestine in there, it's totally different, you know, why is Israel, you know, and used this whole, you know, he was terribly reasonable and very emotional, but he used the, you know, as a Jew, you know, I find this very hot, you know, how you talk about Israel, you know, as if Israel, you know, is synonymous with Jews, and having a go at Israel is having a go at Jews, and, you know, it's something we have to be a lot more vigorous and a lot less embarrassed about standing up to, and say Israel and Judaism aren't the same thing, and, you know, Zionism is not Judaism, and there are plenty of Jews who will say that, you know, but they have to be louder, but we have to be louder too, and not feel ashamed, not feel that kind of, oh yes, better be kind of careful around you because you're Jewish kind of hope, you know, because a crime is a crime is a crime, and a crime against humanity is the highest crime, and, you know, there's no reason to pussyfoot around that.
And if you want to come and barrack Zionists,
Yeah.
well, they're so cheeky. The Zionist Federation is organising a Science Day on February the 9th. It's aimed at our sixth formers to tell them of the achievements of Israeli science in protecting the environment and developing water and sanitation projects that are second to none, and of planting more trees than any other nation. And you just think, what?
How many did
You're
they bulldoze?
dumping your toxic waste in the West Bank, you're depriving Palestinians of water, and you're destroying the environment and cutting down. Anyway, February the 9th. Of course, they don't tell us where it is. They dance on their own website.
Location.
It says Central London location. But if you want to be kept informed, because there will be a picket, BRICUP, the British Committee for the University of Palestine, has written a brilliant letter, an open letter, for which they are mobilising signatories among academics. And it's addressed to David Bellamy, because dear old David Bellamy is fronting
the meeting.
events associated
What a
with
letdown.
this day. I mean,
I loved him.
think it's quite big to do, and I think there should be lots of us there.
Yeah.
So if there are any academics or researchers or teachers, go on to get in touch with BRICUP, because I think it's until the 3rd of February that they're collecting signatures for this open letter to David Bellamy, which is asking him to withdraw, and let's hope that he does.
Lots of quotes from the Amnesty International Water Report,